No, at the outset, I have to congratulate the entire team ISRO. Finally, they have made it. And this is not a small achievement. We are now among the 3 or 4 nations in the world who are in that elite league. And at the same time, I also to express my gratitude from the bottom of my heart to Prime Minister Modi, because all this fast-track movement in space sector has been possible only in the last 3-4 years, because for reasons not very explicit, all these 6-7 decades, the Department of Space were working behind a wheel of secrecy. It was only Prime Minister Modi who allowed the participation of private players. And ever since then, now we are following the same benchmarks as the rest of the world. And we are also, in fact, laying down cues and leads for others to follow. We started off late. And that's remarkable. We started very late because the ISRO was established in the year 1969 when the Americans landed the first human being on the surface of Moon, Neil Armstrong. But in the last 5-6 years, we have made up that lapse of time. Today, our Chandrayaan is the first to reach the South Pole. And this docking process, which happened this morning successfully, is also important from the point of view that the entire accomplishment has been achieved indigenously. The material is indigenous, the equipment is indigenous, the technique is indigenous, and that is why it was very appropriately called Bharatiya Docking System. And the entire mission has been very cost effective, less than 400 crore, which is just about nothing when you compare it to the cost of the missions abroad. Now, the importance of this docking system being there in place is, and I think that's important for the viewers to understand, that our missions hereafter are going to be very ambitious missions. They are going to carry crews, astronauts, human beings. Like, for example, when we have a human being going into the space, maybe if not the end of this year, beginning of next year, or finally when we think of landing an Indian on the surface of Moon, or when we think of planning a space station, Bharatiya Antariksh Station, in the space, somewhere around 2035, we would need to have a channel wherein the astronaut can walk into that space station, can come out. Also means of transport, of payloads, of samples, of material. And for all that, this docking and undocking would be very important, because that's it's a very sophisticated technique where, you know, the 2 satellites, like it happened today, were initially running at the speed of about more than 38,000 kilometers. Gradually they come back to just about 0.036 kilometers, just about 3 meters, and then the kind of a merger happens, which would also in future enable us to sustain the satellite for a longer time if required. You know, in that case, you could send across the payloads or even the supplement the fuel in it, in order to make it function there for a longer while. And the other special component of this SpaceX has been that we have another component called CROP, which means orbital plant research. So some seedlings being grown in space, because when we place an astronaut for a longer while of time in a space station, how best he could or she could also explore the possibilities of creating or managing food stuff and other amenities there out, and also the study of the biological systems as far as plantations are concerned, and also the space biology. So by all means, I think this is going to be very, very relevant for our crewed human space mission, for our Chandrayaan-4, for Bharatiya Antariksh Station, and also for the human mission to land on the surface of Moon. And now we are, I think, no less than any other country, and our space economy has started going up. We hope to grow 5 times more in the next 8 to 10 years.